Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Third Round TKO. My name's Tim. I'm joined once again by my co-host, Evan. How's it going, Evan?
Good.
We're here early this morning because the money never sleeps. Got to bring you that full slate breakdown for Draftkings. If you haven't entered a guess in our full fight breakdown of Aljamain Sterling versus Cory Sandhagen, I'll have the link in the description as well as the suggested video when we talk about that fight. So make sure you go put in a guess who you think is going to win. That's the name of the winner, the round, and the method of victory. And you'll be entered for a chance to win a $25 Amazon gift card. So yeah, we're gonna be breaking down the full DraftKings slate. We're gonna start from the bottom up. That's Evan Dunham versus Herbert Burns. You want to start with this one, Evan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have exposure to both just so I don't get burned with the last card, leaving out Gutierrez. But I'm leaning Dunham. Just he has great takedown defense. I'm not thrilled by Herbert Burns. Yeah, just as long as he's still durable, not a scrub now.
Yeah. How old do you have his age up? Is it like 38 or?
Roughly, yeah, maybe even older, 39-ish.
Yeah. I mean,
Was supposed to fight Michael Johnson though, so like I'm glad he isn't just like coming off the couch for this Herbert Burns fight. He was supposed to fight.
so he was training.
So that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, I think that Dunham isn't really someone I can trust here. You know, he
Yeah,
was talking about retirement, his last fight against Trinaldo, and that was almost 2 years ago now.
he did retire. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
guess he
then
did retire. Yeah, I mean, you just don't want to put your money on someone like that. You have the occasional favors, you know, you have guys that'll come back and have a vintage performance. In the NBA, sometimes you have guys like Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, and even Carmelo Anthony who will have just like, you know, vintage performances every once in a while. But, you know, you just can't trust in that vintage performance here. I think Dunham certainly could. You know, Herbert definitely isn't Gilbert. And his win over Landwehr looks better in hindsight for Herbert, that is, with Nate the Train defeating Darren the Damage Elkins. I do think that Dunham has a style to potentially make this a boring fight and win a decision. In that Trinaldo fight, he had some success, even taking Trinaldo down before giving up position and ending up on his back. I think that'd be just a terrible position here against Herbert Burns. And Burns really, really likes those knees to the body. He throws those front kicks to the body as well. It doesn't look good that Dunham has lost his last two with those same strikes to the body, so that kind of worries me. But Burns has like terrible striking defense. Against Minner, he literally just sat back against the cage with his hands down and 8 strikes until he was eventually able to land the knee. Or I guess he was able to land a knee there after eating a bunch of strikes before Minner took him down. Yeah, I guess I just question Dunham's motivation. I don't really feel like I can trust him with his weakness to the body. I think that he does have the skills to beat Burns if he could keep it on the feet and stay in and out with his strikes. But he also likes to mix up the takedowns, and that seems to be like a pretty big part of his game. So that kind of makes me worried.
yeah, I don't know if that would be the best idea here.
Yeah, so I'm not really. I mean, I wouldn't mind to play on Dunham, but I'm not big on him. I'm not really big on Burns here either. I think his price is just a little bit too much in a fight where Dunham could potentially survive late. And yeah.
Yeah, I'll just add that fight goes to decision is plus 130. So they're assuming someone gets a finish. Burns by finish is... Where's Burns by finish? Minus 109. And Dunham by finish is plus 500. So, I mean...
So they're expecting the Burns finish?
Yeah, that 8,900 might not be a terrible play.
I just think I like other people in that range.
There's just so much up there, yeah.
Yeah, like
it's going to be like last
Menifield
week.
and
Like,
Byrd.
everybody's going to pay off up top.
But yeah, we seem to be kind of in
I have
agreement.
exposure to both. Slightly more Herbert, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I might get Herbert in one. I might get Dunham in one. But I probably won't have a ton of either of them. I think this might go to like the later rounds, and I think that Herbert might be able to get the finish round 3 or...
Under 2.5 is minus 130.
There you go. They don't agree. Okay. Moving on, we have Alonzo Menifield taking on Devin Clark. I am on Menifield here. I think he looks pretty good. Has great balance, very strong hips. I think the smaller cage kind of helps him. He likes to use it to stay upright and work back to his feet if he does get taken down. Outside of his first Contender Series fight, I thought he's shown pretty good takedown defense. Able to shuck off Paul Craig and Moreira whenever they were on pretty deep in some takedowns. He's extremely strong. His striking is actually pretty good. He is 2 years older than Devin Clark, and Devin Clark has much more professional experience and many more years training in MMA. But I do think that Menifield is a better athlete. And while Clark, I kind of feel like Clark has plateaued in his game, whereas I feel Menifield is rapidly improving. For me, the only thing that kind of worries me is that Menifield is a big, strong, muscular guy, and he does a lot of explosive movements. I'm kind of worried about his camp, but I am happy this fight was originally scheduled for May 2nd, and I'm hoping that he got a bit of a camp in before that. But from what I've seen on Instagram, it looks like he's been training mostly by himself. So I would like to see him on the scales here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Initially, I was leaning Clark, but then I dug into it more, and I think Alonzo rolls here. I think Alonzo could even be the one landing takedowns, pushing him against the cage and just overpowering him, just more athletic, stronger, quicker. And he also is very live for the brutal knockout, ground and pound. I've seen Clark knocked out cold, quite a few times, not just finished by strikes, out bad.
Yeah.
So, the odds have over-unders at 1.5. It's like a pick 'em. Fight goes to decision is plus 195. Alonzo Menifield inside the distance minus 180. So yeah. I'm playing Alonzo in probably 80% of my lineups.
Yeah, I plan to have a lot of exposure to Alonzo. I like him better than Burns. I think his path is much clearer. Clark, he also kind of fades, so that makes me feel good about the potential fade for Alonzo. Yeah, for having those giant tree trunks of legs that Paul Felder always likes to mention, he has terrible balance, and he doesn't have very good takedown offense or
always
entries.
Concussed.
Yeah, seriously, and I don't think he has a very good chin. Even in that Rakic fight, he had messed Rakic up early on, and even I think he had all those illegal knees to the head of Rakic, and yet he came back and finished him. So, yeah, Clark is easily affected by punches. Menifield is very fast and strong. I think that the path for Stosic here to get a decision would be to hold Menifield up against the cage. But even in that position, we've seen Menifield get hurt. So, we've seen, Clark get hurt in that position against the cage. So, yeah, I'm on Menifield here. I think he finishes Clark probably in the first round. If he does go to the decision, I think that he'll win at least the first two. So I think he's a pretty safe bet also to reach value.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I like how this is going so far.
Yeah, that early morning, don't got much to say.
And next up, we have Formiga versus Alex Perez.
You want to start with this one?
Sure, I'll start with this one. Yeah, they share an opponent in Joseph Benavidez. Perez got finished in the first, and Formiga got finished in the second. Perez was clearly affected to the body in that fight and really struggled with the forward blitzing movement of Joseph Benavidez. I don't think that's going to be the same game plan here for Formiga. Formiga does have a pretty nice double jab, but otherwise his game plan really is to just try to get the fight to the mat. This is another one where I think the smaller cage is going to help him out here. Being able to press Perez against the cage, being able to take him down. For me, the main difference is just the level of competition. Formiga's fought the best. Perez has not fought very good opponents other than the Benavidez fight. I will say he didn't really look outclassed early on, but he was affected pretty quickly, and Yeah, I mean, I think that Perez is potentially live. I just don't think if he even wins, he scores well. Whereas I do like Formiga's price. I do like that he's fought top level competition and has beaten the majority of them, including Davison Figueiredo and others. So yeah, I'm personally on Formiga here. I like his price tag. I like his ability to pay that off in a win, in a decision. I also think that a sub is live here.
I'm kind of torn over on this one. I don't really have a strong lean either way. I think Perez is the bigger, more athletic guy.
Yeah.
Slightly better on the feet, but
Yeah.
not really sure about that. And for me, there's going to be the one shooting takedowns, so I don't think Perez gets those points.
Right. Yeah. Normally he scores well with takedowns, and I think that he'll try to avoid the takedowns, which makes me think that he won't reach value anyway. But sorry, I cut you off. Keep going.
That's pretty much just lean. I'm going to fade this for Draftkings, I think, because Perez is a very good wrestler too, so I think he might be able to stay on his feet if Formiga shoots those takedowns. So, I don't know. I'd lean Perez decision, but that's not confident at all.
Yeah, I did put that bet in. You know, Formiga's in there. I don't think it's a great bet. You know, I think that Perez, I'm mostly betting on Perez not being at the same level.
Yeah, just experience and competition level.
Yeah, and I think that game plan wise, Formiga should win unless he's kind of
100% a huge step up from Mark De La Rosa and Jordan Espinoza.
Yeah, that's what I
mean.
mean.
Formiga would do to both those guys.
He would beat them in the first round quickly.
Perez only put up 73 points against De La Rosa in a decision.
And didn't he get takedowns? Like
2.
2, yeah. So get rid of the takedowns. For me, Perez is just not on my radar at all. I don't think that he pays off value. He could potentially win, but I think this is a dogger pass, and I like Formiga better. I will have him in some lineups, but yeah.
I'm going to be fading.
There we go. Next up, we have Charles Byrd versus Maki Pitolo. You want to start this one off, or should I?
Yeah, go ahead. I got to get my thoughts together for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start with Pitolo. He has big power in his hands, but he'll be in a big power disadvantage in the clinch and in the grappling exchanges with Byrd. Byrd has a really nice jab. He works in takedowns very well. He's very powerful. He throws strikes over the top, and he's pretty good at throwing that counter right hand. On the flip side, Pitolo has terrible striking defense, just absolutely terrible striking defense. He was rocked by Callan Potter multiple times, who just isn't a power puncher at all. He does seem to have a pretty good chin, but he gets stunned often. You'll see him, he throws his combinations and he just sticks in the pocket and he'll hurt the guy, but then he'll just get hit right back with a clean 3-punch combo. And you can tell when one of those big shots lands on him that it definitely stuns him. You know, like I said, he has a pretty good chin and he wears it well. But he also was taken down 3 times against Potter, and I think that Byrd will just have much more success if he tries that. Byrd has really nice elbows. That's where I think in the clinch, this could be a good place for him. But he's also been hurt by elbows in the past couple fights. The Stewart finish and the other finish were by elbows. Yeah, Shabazian. Yeah. Were by elbows. They are about the same height, about the same reach. I do think that Byrd should finish Pitolo probably by the second round. I think that he will score well, and I think that he will probably look for the takedown early on. I'm just a bit worried with Byrd's chin and potential gas tank. It's hard to tell. Like, in the... what's the one fight? In the...
Stewart
fight. There we go. Thank you. Psychic Evan over here. Yeah, in the Stewart fight, it's hard to tell. Like, was he fading or did that elbow just catch him behind the ear and mess him up? You know.
Good though.
So I think that Maki has a chance. I wouldn't say he's a terrible GPP player. I think that if he wins, it will be by knockout. I just think that's not super likely.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just emphasize what you said. Maki really only thing he's got going for him is like solid boxing, I like how he doesn't load up on everything. He'll just like test it out, fire. Like he's not gonna gas. But terrible striking defense, like you said. And I can't get that Callum Potter fight out of my head. That was atrocious. And Byrd can do that exact same game plan.
But better.
Stronger, strong leg kicks. Byrd southpaw, I believe. And a true middleweight. This is Maki's like second fight at middleweight, but first fight in the UFC at middleweight.
Yeah, I don't think he's a true middleweight. He should be.
Just this guy, he just has a weird feeling. I think this has GPP play all over it, like you were saying.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If you're looking for a flyer, someone that could score a lot of points, it's Pitolo. You know, he's cheap and.
Yeah. So the over/under for this is also 1.5 plus 130 to go decision. Maki inside the distance plus 260. Byrd inside the distance plus 150. So like they're close. Bird's gonna be definitely higher owned. So I'm taking a few chances on Maki here. I'm also gonna roster Byrd, but I don't know. I got a weird feeling Maki's gonna the Maki bombs. Or cocoa bombs, right?
Coconut bombs, yeah.
Cocoa, yeah.
Yeah, it's goofy.
Yeah, I definitely think Byrd is the rightful favorite, but I just got a funky feeling here.
Well, you certainly can't trust Bird's chin. Although, it's hard to know. It seems like his downfall is the shot behind the ear, you know. But that seems to be the case with most people, so it's
he's
hard
old
to tell.
Too. How old?
He is old.
He's like 38. He hasn't fought in like
36
over a year.
37, yeah. He's up there. So
apparently he got in a car accident, like tweaked his neck a little bit,
yeah,
and that's why
neck.
But I don't know.
I did see that. I mean, I do think that Byrd should win. I think he's the better all-around fighter. But yeah, I think this is a fight that you're probably going to want to target. One of these guys is scoring big, and at Pitolo's price range, it's hard not to take at least a couple of shots on him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, moving on, we have Cody Stamann versus Brian Kelleher. You want to start this one off?
Yeah, I think Cody just gets his wrestling game going, lands multiple takedowns, advances. I don't know if he pays off that 91, but I think he dominates this fight.
Yeah. I got a bit of a hot take.
All right. Well, I know Cody's gonna land takedowns. Lands multiple every fight. 5 for 12 on Song, 6 advances. He attempted 8 on Perez, didn't get any. He went 3 for 3 on Aljo, 4 for 5 on that French kid that retired, 8 for 12 on Ware, and he went 0 for 1 on Caraway, but defended 22 of 23. So I think he's just going to get this to the mat, work his game, and the hype on Kelleher is going to fall off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have a bit of a hot take. Both guys are usually 135ers, but this fight will be at 145. Kelleher fought his last fight at 145 against Hunter Azure, where he had a stoppage victory. Stamann is coming off the draw against Song Yadong at 135. Like you said, Stamann looks to wrestle. I think he'll be the better offensive wrestler, no doubt about that. Kelleher has statistically good takedown defense, but he definitely hasn't fought a wrestler like Stamann. Even in the Azure fight, Azure didn't really look to mix up the takedowns, even though he was a wrestler. Stamann is pretty jacked, and I feel like the weight will favor him here. They are about the same size. But you can't really underestimate Kelleher's power in his hands. I do think that Stamann has a bit of a speed advantage as well. And he has a pretty good chin. For DK, I don't like Stamann, where I think he could potentially struggle to get Kelleher down. He really struggled against Perez to get him down, and he, like you said, he really struggled in that Caraway fight. Wasn't able to get his takedown in either of those fights. I don't really rate Perez. Alejandro Perez, we're talking about.
Yeah.
Who we both confuse with Alex Perez sometimes.
We've seen one that Song sent out of orbit.
Yeah. We've seen Stamann really struggle to fight off the back foot. And every single one of his fights, he's really struggled when he's fighting off the back foot. We saw it against Perez, who was able to defend all of Cody's takedowns and even took him down with a power single leg. We saw in the Caraway fight. We saw it in the Aljo fight. Pretty much every fight, anytime that Cody's trying to fight off the back foot, he's having trouble. It's much harder to shoot double legs when you're pressed against the cage. And I think Kelleher is going to come forward the whole time. He pushes a pace. I think that Cody kind of slows. In the Perez fight, he really let Cody off in round 2. Like, just really took the round off, even though he had a pretty close first round and then kind of had like a pretty good third round. And Kelleher is going to push the pace, and he's going to be coming at him the whole time. I think it's interesting, the extra 10 pounds for Stamann. Will that allow him to have more early success in the grappling exchanges? Will it cause him to gas faster? Will he have more power in the hands? I'm not really sure exactly how that's going to play out. Kelleher has bad striking defense. He has worked a bit of a high guard shell recently that's kind of served him well. I think, but otherwise his chin is his main form of striking defense. And I do expect him to eat a lot of shots coming forward. But I don't know if Cody will be able to stop him with his hands. Kelleher has shown good spinning attacks, and Stamann has been tagged with spinning attacks in the past. Stamann also puts himself in danger of the guillotine, and Kelleher has a great guillotine. For me, Kelleher is the type of person I like to put my money on. He'll definitely bring the fight to Cody. He'll fight hard the whole time. I think he'll make it to the decision. Cody is always in these close fights, irregardless of opponent, basically. And I definitely think he has a path here. I don't like Cody for someone that I think that could potentially struggle to get the takedown. I don't know if he pays off his 91K price tag. He could land a ton of power shots on Kelleher, who, like I said, has terrible defense, and pay it off that way. But yeah, I mean, hot take, I like Kelleher here. I think that I'm going to run him in DK. I wouldn't bet on him, but I think for DK, he's another kind of GPP flyer guy, sort of like Pitolo, where if he wins, he could potentially score a lot of points. I think that he could hurt Cody. Like I said, Cody struggles fighting off the back foot. And Kelleher, I hope, will continue to press and just really bring it to him.
Just don't like how Kelleher looked before the finish, before Hunter gassed out his last fight. Like, Cody's not going to gas out. But
yeah, I see that. But he also caught Azure with that left hook clean. It wasn't like...
Yeah, but I don't think Cody's going to be there for that, in my opinion. He's going to keep forcing them takedowns, but...
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can see it. I really could see it. When I was watching the footage on this one, I had to go back and check all of them again, basically. And maybe I was looking to, like, validate my own point, But, man, I think Kelleher is worth a shot on DK, whereas
cheap.
I don't like Stamann.
You do a lot with Kelleher in your lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's $1 million play right there, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I mean,
we're chasing this million maker. We forgot to mention
wins.
that.
Yeah, we're looking for the millie. So, yeah, we disagree on this one.
Everyone.
I noticed that you had played Stamann.
I have Stamann in a few lineups.
Yeah.
Just racking up takedowns, advances. Let's look at his previous scores.
But look at the Perez and the Caraway scores. Let's get those first.
Yes. He had 0 takedowns and 1 takedown in those fights. I'm assuming he's going to land takedowns on Kelleher. Sandhagen, if he got that decision, he nets 94. Aljo, we know what happened. Kesnoy, I still can't say his name. 89. Like, it's there.
Yeah.
And
I just think that
usually if you beat Kelleher, you're gonna score well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kelleher doesn't usually make it to the decision. He wins or loses. Mm-hmm. But even in that Lineker fight, man, in round 3, Kelleher had a ton of success, and then he got finished,
He got clocked, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think Cody has the power in the hands as Lineker. And, dude, I think that the smaller cage helps Kelleher here. He uses the cage to get to his feet down and uses the cage to defend takedowns. And, yeah, I think he'll be pressing Cody into the cage. Yeah, so we disagree. That's okay. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm almost making a case for everyone here.
Yeah.
Notice.
No, I feel that as well. Moving on, we have Ian Heinisch versus Gerald Meerschaert, GM3. You have a lean on this one specifically?
Not a lean. I just think Ian's more athletic. Gerald's more funky, crafty. A lot of what Ian does kind of plays into what GM3 does, but I'm leaning fade on this fight as well. I know you got some more to say here.
Yeah, I mean, I like both of these guys. They're both kind of the type of person I like to bet on, where they both just go at it.
Fight for your money, yeah.
Yeah, they'll fight for your money. Heinisch was taken down 5 times by Ferreira and 4 times by Shoeface. I wouldn't say either of those guys are very good offensive wrestlers. Like you said, I definitely agree that the way Heinisch fights really just plays into GM3's game plan. I think that is more of GM3's style, and I'm thinking that he'll be able to do it better. I'm hoping that he'll be able to get Heinisch down. Heinisch does do a pretty good job of working to his feet, creating scrambles because he's pretty scrappy. He also has pretty good cardio. But, yeah, I think I like GM3 at this price range. I don't think you could play Heinisch at all. I think Heinisch is completely off the table with scores of like 78 and 74 in his wins or whatever. So I think GM3 by decision. I could see him locking in an arm triangle choke, which he has a few victories by, and Heinisch has lost 2 in the past. I'm not very confident. I think this is the epitome of a 50-50, basically. I'm basically just betting on GM3.
Meerschaert has more ways to finish the fight.
Yeah, and I think he's just a better fighter. You know, more skilled, has been doing this longer. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I don't got much to say.
All right, moving on. We have Chase Caceres, or
Yeah, I like that one.
We have Chase Hooper versus Alex Caceres.
Twitter name.
Yeah, so
I'm having exposure to both. Initially, I was pretty strong on Caceres, but more I think about it, I just think it's a setup for Chase. But I just can't get out those. Chase gets rocked every single fight. He's fighting guys like 5'6", like 500 records. Like
yeah.
Daniel Tamer's the worst you could get in the UFC.
No good.
Unless like they did like some crazy twin shit in the locker room and like sent out David Tamer. But like I can't trust Chase's. I'm not gonna bet Chase, obviously.
Yeah.
But for DraftKings, I'll play him in a few. But I'll also be playing Caceres in a few. He can chin check him. He has solid boxing. He does throw too many flashy kicks, so I don't want to do that. Because I'll just set up some Hooper takedowns. But the smaller case too, that also what made me switch to Chase. I think that'll be easier for him to get the takedowns.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. More Chase than Alex, but I will have Caceres.
I agree with all that, really. I think the small case, like you said, favors Hooper. If Caceres had power, I'd be a little more worried about it. Some stuff about Caceres. Massey Follin, who he fought, was out of the UFC after the Caceres fight. Cole Miller lost one more in the UFC and hasn't fought since 2016. Rolando Dye out of the UFC. Martin Bravo will probably be cut soon. Steven Peterson isn't very good. His most recent win was over Martin Bravo. I think both of them will be out of the UFC. He lost to Kron Gracie in his debut. That was Gracie's debut. He lost to Guan Wang in his UFC debut, who hasn't fought ever again. He lost to Jason Knight, who has lost 4 in a row to lower tier competition before joining bare knuckle boxing. He lost to Yair in a split. That's probably his best look. He lost to Francisco Rivera Jr., who lost his next 3 and hasn't fought since 2016. He lost to Masanori Kanehara, who lost his next 2 and was cut from the UFC. I mean, I don't think Chase is a world beater. He has one.
All those guys are arguably better than Hooper's past opponents, though.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Chase is a world beater. He has one game plan. It gets you to the ground and finish the fight. I do think if Caceres can keep it on the feet, he has the movement, he has the footwork to outpoint Chase here en route to a decision. Does he score well in the process? Probably not. Do you need him to score super well? Probably not. At 76 or whatever he is,
I think 77.
Yeah, he's around there in the range of like a Assuncao and GM3 and
Rocco.
Yeah, Rocco. So for me, I don't like him that much. I do like Chase at 85. I think if he wins, he will pay that off.
If he wins, that's going to pay off.
He gets the takedown. He gets the passes. He has good ground and pound, actually. And he looks for the submission. So I do favor Chase here. I will have some exposure to him. Probably won't have much exposure, if any, to Caceres.
Yeah, I'll if I'm betting, I would lean Caceres, but for DraftKings, I'm leaning Hooper, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense for
I
sure.
haven't had my coffee yet, my bad.
Caceres could win a decision, which would pay off your bet, whereas Hooper could score 1,000,000 points on DraftKings and win you a milli.
It's plus 145 to go to decision. Hooper inside the distance minus 120. Caceres inside the distance plus 365. Plus 350 for Caceres by decision. Same with Hooper, both plus 350 by decision.
Yeah.
So the odds are leaning
The finish.
Hooper finish, yeah.
Cool. Well, we seem to be in agreement here. We have Sean O'Malley versus Eddie Wineland. How you feel about this one?
My boy Sean. I think Sean rolls here. I do like Eddie's movement. He does have solid head movement. But he's going to bring the fight to Sean. Like, he's not going to... It's not movement to disengage. It's movement to just, like, get in the pocket and brawl, basically. Which, I don't know. I think Sean rolls here. I think if he doesn't get the finish, he's just going to rack up points with volume. He has been in that D a lot, so I wouldn't rule out a sub. He's really been talking about that, wanting to start getting people to recognize his grappling game a little bit. So I like Sean here a lot.
Yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on this one. I haven't done too much tape study on Wineland. I do like Sean. I think that he's taking a bit of a slow road to get up to higher level competition, which isn't a bad thing.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I do think that he rolls here against Wineland. I don't know if he's gonna pay off his price tag unless he gets the finish, and he might have to get it early on. Wineland, I don't think has been finished, at least recently, from what I saw on Tapology. So I think I like Nunes.
He was rocked his last fight.
Was he?
Yeah, against Popov. He still won, but...
And O'Malley has put on more muscle and looks like more power as well. I do favor
I think
O'Malley.
O'Malley leveled up.
Yeah, I think he did level up too. I like O'Malley here. I don't know if I'll play him much on DraftKings because of the price. He's a little expensive. Anything else you wanted to say on this one?
Probably just O'Malley inside the distance is minus 150. So, again, like the last 7 people I mentioned, they're favored to get the finish. It's like, that obviously doesn't always happen, but you got to have exposure to those guys.
For sure. Moving on, we have Neil Magny versus Rocco Martin. Originally, you were leaning Martin, I think, right?
Still on Rocco here.
Still on Rocco.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I do favor Magny, I think. I think he is probably the better fighter at almost every level. I do like Rocco Martin. I just think Magny's higher, I think that Magny, he worked beautifully behind his jab in that Li Jingliang fight, and that was coming off of a 16-month layoff. He'll have 6.5-inch reach advantage against Rocco Martin, and I don't think that Martin's game plan is the type to overcome the reach advantage, particularly if Magny stays behind the jab. I also think that Martin could be effective with the leg kicks, but in the Li fight, Magny showed much better defense, was able to use his footwork to move out of range effectively of those leg kicks. Magny via decision, and I think he could potentially pay off his value.
I'm on the complete other end. I usually like to think I have a solid read on Magny fights. I was high on Ponzi. I was on Magny's last fight, but I only like Magny when he has that plus next to his name. I can't back him in the air, especially on DraftKings. I don't think he's going to pay off well. Rocco, though, his only loss at welterweight was against Damian Maia.
Yeah.
So I think moving up did help him. He's a very opportunist grappler, so if Magny does shoot those takedowns, he could kind of sweep him with that Kimura he likes to do. And I don't know if it's just that this just happened last week, but I'm putting a lot of stock in these calf kicks.
Yeah, last week, for sure. The small cage, I think, helps him with that, too. Because Magny's defense is to move out of range.
And Rocco, that's his best weapon. He sat Ramos on the knee down with those calf kicks. Magny was sat down by RDA by those calf kicks and sat down 6 times by those calf kicks against Ponzinibbio.
Yep.
So, again, I don't know if it's just like recency bias and putting so much stock into that, but I think that's going to be the game changer. I think anywhere this fight goes, Rocco should take over.
Cool.
He's one of my favorite underdogs to bet. I'm
Yeah.
just waiting on
On
that.
DraftKings, he hasn't scored well though in the past, right?
That's where I'm
But he doesn't really
torn.
need a ton at 77 or whatever he is.
75, yeah.
75, yeah.
But he only passed that twice.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I think that a cash game play, Martin could be good. I'm not huge on Magny on DraftKings. I probably will have a bit of exposure to him just because of his price tag. I think that I just like the guys in the similar price range as Martin. And because Martin doesn't score well in his wins, it's hard for me to really like back him in DraftKings. I don't think
It
he gets a
depends
finish.
what they count as knockdowns.
Yeah.
There's like last week that Gutierrez fight, he sat him down 5+ times with leg kicks. They only counted 2 as knockdowns.
Yeah.
It's too subjective.
Fight metrics.
So, but I mean, if they credit them how they should, Rocco could pay off.
Yeah,
I think he's going to throw those things at will.
You could do worse, I think, than Rocco Martin for sure. Yeah, so Aljamain Sterling versus Cory Sandhagen is next. Check our full fight breakdown. The link will be in the description. I'll also have it in the suggested box up here. Yeah, make sure you go to that fight. Leave a comment of who you think is going to win and how. And that's name of victor, method of victory, and round. And you can be entered to win a $25 Amazon gift card. Yeah, we both kind of like Sandhagen here.
So I don't know. Do you think he pays off? You think it'll be worth rostering?
At 8K, I think he could be, I think... I know that in his last fight he didn't score super well. 70-something?
66.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even worse than I thought.
Before that, though, they all paid off plus some. 100, 120, 109, 133.
Yeah, I do like Sandhagen. I will take some shots on him on DraftKings. I'm also going to have some Sterling, too. Sterling pays well in the victories. I think this would be close. I do favor Sandhagen, but just for DraftKings, I'll have some Sterling in there at his price.
Yeah, I'm rushing a few Cory, and as of now, I don't have any Sterling. But I'm torn on this fight for DK. I don't know if I want to play it or just watch as a fan.
Yeah, I'll definitely have a fade option on this one for DK as well. Because if Sandhagen wins, he could potentially not reach value. Apparently, if Sterling wins, he's going to reach value.
Takedowns.
So, yeah.
Advances.
And, Cory got hit in the Lineker fight and in the Assuncao fight a little bit. I think Lineker scored like around 100 significant strikes on him. But that's kind of Lineker's style, too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it should be a crazy pace. I mean, Cory definitely, he could hit value.
Yeah, and Aljo kind of slows, and gets hurt to the body. And Sandhagen has great submissions, so I think it's there. Moving on, we have Cody Garbrandt versus Raphael Assuncao.
Talk me out of playing Cody here because I'm contemplating it.
Well, yeah, I will say if Cody were to win, I see 2 very likely paths only. One of those is he finishes Assuncao similar to how Moraes finished Assuncao, which was basically by 2 overhand rights Moraes threw in a row, both connected. The second one knocked Assuncao down. I think if Cody hits him with those shots, it's over.
That's Cody's best weapon.
Yeah, and those are the same shots Cody throws. He's very fast. Although Assuncao has a good chin, and he survived on the ground, and he made Moraes go down there and finish him, I think, if I remember correctly. Garbrandt does have very quick and very strong ground and pound, so that'd be not a great place for Assuncao. But the second path I see for Cody is he uses his footwork, he picks him apart, he stays outside, similar to the Cruz fight, and wins a decision, which is what I think he's going to try to do here, working with Mark Henry. But But if he does that, he's not going to pay off his price tag at all. I think he got like 70-something points in that 5-round decision win over Cruz. I think that if he wins with that method here, he'll score even less. I'm not on Cody Garbrandt. I am more so on Assuncao. I did put that bet on him. You know, I do think Assuncao has a very high likelihood to win. If Cody does stand in trade, I think that he's in big trouble here. He has 0 chin. What worries me here is that he's shown the same tendencies in every fight over and over again. That's Cody Garbrandt I'm talking about. He gets hit or he starts to get cocky. I mean, I think he has like flashbacks of the Cruz fight where he, the strike misses and he has to fucking do a little dance or like say, oh, you missed me or whatever. And it's every single time, bro. Every single time, like in the TJ fights, in the Munoz fight, whatever. Once he starts doing, he like looks away. Once he starts doing that shit, it's over with, bro. It's over. I already know it's over once he starts doing that. So like, I'm really hoping that he can stay disciplined here. I really hope that he can. He definitely has all the tools, but I just can't trust in him at all.
I think going to Mark Henry would help that though. If anyone's gonna get you to stop like doing the bullshit, it's him.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, sparring is so much, and training is so much different than fighting. Like, even for myself, when I spar, I can look I look pretty good in my fights too, don't get me wrong, but I'll be sparring like world beater status, and then I go in there to the fight and I just want to like brawl and throw down, so you can't really like simulate.
No crowd?
Yeah, that might help out a little bit, but you really can't simulate that fight, mentality. And you probably don't if you have the chin of Cody Garbrandt. I did put that bet in on Assuncao, like I said, in the parlay. I will have exposure to him on DraftKings at his price point. I think if he wins, he has a good shot to pay that off. I probably won't have any Cody Garbrandt. I don't really think he gets the finish. Yeah, that's all I got to say, I guess.
I'll just add that Assuncao is 37, so you got to assume he's going to be coming in worse every next fight.
38, I think now, maybe.
There you go. That speed, hand speed, that could be the difference maker here if Cody stays smart. Everything I'm saying is assuming Cody stays smart, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's...
Cody has all the tools other than the brain, basically.
Exactly,
And the chin, I guess.
I think Mark Henry will help that out.
So, I do see Cody potentially having success, but...
should be under own. Should be, if he performs well, a solid GPP play.
Yeah, he certainly could do the same thing that Moraes did, I see that very clearly, but it's just, I have zero faith in Cody Garbrandt. And,
that's fair.
Assuncao at 38 or 37, I think he was, in that Sandhagen fight, looked pretty good. And I know that he's going to bring the fight to Cody. The small cage, I think, might help Assuncao a little bit.
Cody's a good wrestler, though. I don't know if Assuncao will just take him down.
Yeah, I don't think Assuncao will try to take him down, but I think that he'll try to press Cody. Cody likes to use his footwork to get out of range and to be out of, striking distance. He likes to get in and out. He moves his head pretty well, but if he can get trapped on the cage, then Assuncao can probably unload some big shots, and you just can't trust in Cody's chin. So moving on, we have Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. I think anything you want to start off with?
If you roster Spencer, you could afford almost anyone on this week's, next week's, the next card.
Yeah, we were looking at that. We made a Spencer Mako lineup, and you can fit anyone else in there pretty much.
I definitely made a few with her just because of that. I see a lot of people saying she's tough enough to make it to the bell. Maybe. I don't see it personally. I think Amanda rolls here. Yeah. But Felicia will attempt takedown. She will implement her game. It's not like one of those guys that have the tools but don't use it. She's going to attempt. Same with Devin Clark. He's going to attempt those takedowns, whether he gets them or not. He's going to attempt them. And that's with Spencer. She's going to attempt to get you to the cage. It's just if Amanda's cardio holds up or gets her out of there early, which I think either one should happen.
Yeah, I think that Nunes has a pretty good shot to roll here. I definitely do believe that.
I think she'll be the highest owned on the slate, too. I mean, I don't think that's anything groundbreaking, but...
And at her price point, she's going to need... I mean, I don't know. She doesn't necessarily need a finish. But I will bring up the fact that in the Jermaine Durandamy fight, she really relied on those takedowns. That is why she basically scored so well. I also think that she used that to kind of rest. And I think that that's just a terrible idea and place to be against Felicia Spencer. You know, I think that just kind of fits into Felicia's game plan, who is not above pulling guard. I do think that I question Nunes' motivation. I question Nunes' preparation. I know, I remember her talking about that last fight, how she had basically just like partied nonstop after she won the second belt. And really, I don't think she came into that GDR fight in very good shape. Now her wife is pregnant. She's been on quarantine. I have no idea what her camp's been like. I know that Spencer has been training hard. I know that Spencer is going to bring it. I know that Spencer is extremely tough. She has an excellent chin. I mean, she just ate bomb after bomb after bomb from Cyborg. And, I mean, that was 3 rounds. I think she could have potentially outlasted Cyborg if that kept going. I think that she could potentially outlast Spencer here, or excuse me, Nunes here. If Nunes isn't able to take her to the ground, she's going to have to run around on her feet the whole time, and I think that might tire her out more. Spencer's going to keep pushing. The one thing I'm worried about is Nunes has just much faster hands and pretty much just as much power as Cyborg. So the extra hand speed could potentially let her find that big shot, that big finish that Cyborg wasn't able to. But yeah, I mean, I think Spencer is worth a flyer, although I do think that Nunes probably rolls. Watching interviews, man, I like what Spencer, I like where she's at, you know, mentally. I like what she's saying. She seems to be genuine and not just one of these fighters that will say the same bullshit before every fight and then like Anthony Pettis or Tyron Woodley or whoever, you know.
Yeah.
Had the best camp. I'm in the best shape, and then the fight's over with, oh, I had a broken foot.
Don't do anything.
Yeah, I had a bad elbow or... So
yeah, just to add to that, if Nunes didn't get those takedowns in advance, and she's not hitting value in that GDR fight.
Yeah, I mean, at 94.
Looking back, the last grappler she's fought was Ronda. And you got to assume Felicia Spencer is tougher than Ronda, able to stretch it out more than that. I mean, it's weird. I don't know. I see a path for Spencer to make it competitive, but I have a hard time believing it.
Yeah, I mean, the GOAT, Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, with the GDR fight is that even though she wasn't 100% and didn't maybe take it very seriously, she still had all the tools needed to win the fight.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I think that it's a similar case here where, like, you know, irregardless of how Spencer comes in and irregardless of how Nunes comes in, she probably wins this fight 8 or 9 times out of 10. I do think that Spencer is worth a play. I think that if she does win, she'll probably get a later finish, probably a sub, and, you know, at her price point, she'll pretty much definitely reach value.
Yeah. Yeah. I really don't got anything to add to that.
Yeah, so there we go, guys. That's the DraftKings full slate breakdown. I don't know if I'm set up to do a quick picks lineup.
Yeah, I'd say that merely for myself. I got jet for work anyway.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys checking out the video. Once again, go check out the Cory Sandhagen, Aljamain Sterling full fight breakdown. Put in your guess of who you think is going to win to be entered to win a $25 Amazon gift card. Thank you once again, Evan, for joining me early in the morning. Don't forget the money never sleeps. We appreciate you guys. I'll see you soon, Evan.
Deuces.
Bye-bye.
Your opponent attacks. He's not deep. Aljamain's got his back here. Oh, beautiful flying knee. Right, left by Sterling. He's looking